Good evening, all. Myself, Negul Devankar. I'm Assistant Town Planner at RTP Thiruvananthapuram and currently the Secretary of ITPI Kerala chapter. I'm very glad that we could host such an event and would like to thank you all for your interest and participation even in the midst of holidays. We all know that COVID-19 has made a lot of changes in our lives and we have all learned to live the new normal. Our job, our professional activities, meetings, seminars have all undergone changes. This made us to introduce a new platform for interaction. Possibly we are all attending a lot of webinars these days. We thought of having a lighter version of the same, small but effective yet comprehensive to address some aspects which will do us all good in our future career and planning. So with this, we have initiated our web talk event towards better planning and we are having our inaugural session today. Our agenda for the day is inaugural address by our chairman, introducing the guest by Mrs. Shahena, our talk of the day by architect Anjit Augustine, a few interactions with our guest, and concluding remarks by Ms. Malavika. We hope to wind up the session by 7:10 p.m. Our chairman, Sri Anil Kumar sir, retired CTP. He could not connect unfortunately to this meeting. So I'll just read out his inaugural address before passing on to Shahena. So from the chairman, good evening all. I'm happy that we are able to start with our activities for this year, even amidst the COVID-19 regulations, through a new platform for interaction. I'm thankful for all your support and expect the same in the future events. Today we have our young guest, architect Anjit Augustine, who will talk to us regarding the urban design aspects. We expect the Web Talk events to be knowledge sharing and cater positively and equally to both practitioners and new aspirants in the field of planning. With this, I would like to formally announce the inauguration of our Web Talk event program for this year and would like to welcome one and all to this inaugural session. Wishing everyone in advance a very happy new year on behalf of ITPI Kerala chapter. So with this, I think I'll pass on to Mrs. Shahena for the introducing the speaker. Over to you, Shahena.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, all. It's my pleasure and privilege to welcome our keynote speaker, architect Anjit Augustine, principal architect and urban designer with City Future Design Collaborative Aluva and visiting faculty at KMA College, Idatthala. Moreover, he is a secretary to the Indian Institute of Urban Designers, Kerala chapter. As an urban designer, he has showcased his excellence in various architectural projects in the public and private domain. And sir, we are very glad to welcome you to our floor, sir. Please, sir.
Shahena, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to talk in the ITPI platform. I see it as a wonderful platform to share both the institutes' visions regarding our cities. So, shall we start the talk or should we?
Anjit, I think we can start with the talks, and I think some people are still joining in, but it's okay. We'll start with the talks. Okay.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. I'll just make it very quick because we have a time of 20 minutes. I'll just give a basic introduction to the field of urban design. Basically, we see it as any project or any space where it has an inherent nature of publicness or where people come together for various purposes. So that is what we see urban design project, the scope of urban design project as. So any project which involves people congregating for various purposes, that comes in the urban design realm. And also we see it as visualizing these spaces in a three-dimensional way to give a character to these places. So it's about giving an identity to each space. So that is what makes each city or each space different from one another. So it's also about giving character to the spaces as well. So that's what urban design is about. Can you move to next slide?
Hello. Hello.
So these are some of the projects that might come in these category. There can be more projects, but I have just noted some of the projects that we generally come across while doing urban design projects, where people come together. So it can be parks or transit stations, housing communities, sports complexes, campus planning. So all those kind of projects generally come under the scope of urban design. Next. Now, just to put it into a urban planning framework, where does urban design fit in? I'm just showing how urban design has to come, or how does it fit in into the urban planning framework. So we in India generally we have the regional development plan and then the city level master plan. In some cases we go to the zonal development plan, and in very rare cases we have the local area planning. So that's to a certain extent where we go to. Urban design framework or urban design master planning comes after that. It's the last lap in planning, where uh, each of these particular public spaces are detailed to an extent where each build form is designed, or each build form is given guidelines to give shape to the cities. So it's about how the shape, form, character of the city evolves. So that is what urban design framework looks at. So essentially, it's basically the last lap of planning. In India, the scope of urban planning is well established through a proper institutionalized method. We have the town and country planning, where we have proper planning till to a extent of local area planning. But urban design framework, it doesn't have a proper institutionalized format. So that's why this particular urban design is not part of the scheme of things in particularly in our country. Next slide. Yeah, these are just certain examples. You can just go through later when you have time. For example, to look at how urban design fits into the planning framework. So if you look at the Singapore master plan website, or the New Zealand master plan document, basically it's online, so you can visit it. It has the regional plan, it has a master plan. Then you can particularly go into each zones, and they have urban design schemes at the as the last lap to how build forms should come in each of these areas. So that's the extent of detail where these master plans are detailed to. Can you just scroll through the next 3 slides? So basically, those master plans have build forms given. So what should be the build form in each street, or what should be the build form in each area? What are the height restrictions given in each area? What are the envelopes? What are the elevation controls? So it's to that extent these people come up with guidelines so that a particular character is assigned to the city. So urban design sort of fits in that area where uh, we plug in at the last lap of giving character to the cities through these very zoomed in area of the master plan, giving particular guidelines to that to those areas. So that is the extent, or that's the larger scope of urban design. But in India, it's not identified as such till now. So we are still trying to get to that level. Next slide. So these are particularly some of the challenges which I see for the profession of urban design in our country. As I said, it's not recognized administratively as a field of study, or a field which has to be given importance. Like let's say urban planning has an institutional framework, urban design doesn't have that. So we, in that planning process, we sort of miss out on that last lap where we forget to give character to the cities. So that's one issue. The one other issue is that there is no particular scope or funding for urban design projects. We have funding for urban planning projects where we do the master planning and all. And then the next stage is we have funding for architectural projects. So urban design comes somewhere in between. But sadly, our country doesn't have a proper project scope or funding for these kind of projects where public space is designed as an urban design project. It's seen as an architectural project only. So that is one another issue. Now again, generally in Indian cities, the shape and form of Indian cities, or more or less the character of cities, are not given uh, much of importance. So that is also a issue which we see when we look at urban design as a profession. That how should a city look like is not really important in the framework of things which we deal with, particularly because of the various reasons, because of lack of time, or maybe because of the uh, format in which we work for planning. So there are different issues, but that's one core issue. And another issue which we face is that the political leaders of especially the local bodies doesn't have that kind of a development vision to work on public space projects. So I mean, obviously, the local bodies have a lot of power in terms of project development right now, but they are not empowered enough to visualize public spaces to an extent which we imagine of. Or there is no project scope as such also. So that is also one of the key challenges which we face in practicing urban design as a profession. Now, having said that, I practice architecture and I practice urban design as a private consultant. Now, the last few years have definitely seen urban design as a profession picking up, or urban design being identified in different levels of projects in India, especially Smart City has identified urban design as an important component. When we come to Kerala, we do have urban designers working in tourism projects and other master planning projects, which are mostly projects done by tourism department. So they are not essentially identified as an urban design project, but still the scope is something similar, where you are working on public spaces, where you're working on projects of a larger scale, which where people come together. So uh, the project scope has come, but yet urban design, the term urban design is not yet identified in those projects, um, or the or the project brief which is given out. But yet, yes, we are seeing more projects coming up with urban design as a profession being identified. Now, I'll just quickly go through some of the projects which I personally, from my office did, or I did it with a collective group, negotiating within these challenges which has happened. So I'll just quickly go through those as well. Can you move to the next slide? This was one of the projects my office is based in Alua. So Atkins in 2014 had done a project called Future Proofing Cities in 2014. They identified 3 cities in India. So their scope was broadly to um, give a framework for these cities to go ahead for the next 20 years. So Alua was one of the cities identified. It was a UK funded project. The funding was only for the framework development. There was no funding for projects as such. They just give the framework to how it's basically a document which they give after the site study. Next slide. So I was working as a consultant to the Alua municipal body to work with municipality when the Atkins team is on site. So that project went well. There were stakeholder meetings, there were site visits, and all that. It also got a good coverage in news, and they finally came up with this document of future proofing cities. Alua document also came out, which was handed over to the municipal body. Now the next issue was that there is no funding for municipality as such to take these projects as such forward. I mean, you got the document, but there is no funding from UK government to do the project. So the next step in which I sort of worked with the municipality is to narrow down these projects into multiple smaller projects and then trying to get it done through different project schemes, not necessarily from the municipal fund, because Alva municipality is a very small municipality without much of funds. So we were trying to get these projects done as smaller units through different agencies. Next slide. So we sort of, can you put the next slide? We sort of identified, okay, yeah, we sort of identified multiple different projects which can happen, which can be done with different agencies. So this was one proposal, so which was a riverfront development along the Manappuram waterfront edge. So we, as urban designers, we generally do these before and after images where this is how the place looks like, this is how it can become and all that. So that is one way in which we approach design schemes. So we presented a set of images like this where these projects can be developed. So these are potential projects which the municipality can do through different agencies. Next slide. This is the Alva market redevelopment. Again, this project was funded by a different agency. It was working as a loan project, but this project was clubbed together with this larger proposal. So the market redevelopment as a piecemeal project, it's happening. So it's not an ideal scenario which we imagine of where we see the city as a holistic unit, but it's happening in as a piecemeal on piecemeal project basis. So this is one project which is going on right now, the market redevelopment. Next slide. This was another project which was identified. Alva city has a large aqueduct network within the city, so we try to identify it as a pedestrian connection where people can use it as a pedestrian movement system to connect to the metro system which was coming in at that time. Metro was under construction at that time. So we imagined it as a walkway where people can connect to the metro through using these pedestrian channels. Next slide. And intentionally, we did a lot of media presence, so to say, of how these projects can take forward. We had sessions organized by Manorama, and we had sessions where these projects were discussed with other experts. So it sort of gave an impetus for these projects to be taken up individually by different agencies. So so Metro was one agency which at that time was ready to take up one project as such, the Metro bypass corridor. I'll be showing it next. Next slide. Next slide. So this was another proposal which we presented to KMRL from the municipality, where the stretch from bypass junction to Pulinjod junction was identified as a pedestrian network. It connected the market. It had the upcoming metro at that time. It had the private bus stand. So we sort of tried to work out how the transit routes can come in, how the parking can come in, how the landscaping can come in at that point. And we gave a rough estimate proposal from the municipality side and presented it to KMRL. So KMRL took it up as a project of their own, and then they took it forward from there within the stretch. So that is one of the first stretches which got completed by the metro in terms of pedestrianization. So these were some proposal images which we gave. The walkway on road has been completed. The skywalk and all is yet coming up. The multi-level parking is proposed by the Metro KMRL. It hasn't started its work. So that's how the project is coming up. It's coming up as piecemeal work. But overall, if you say it benefited the municipality in a way that different projects took up at different places. These are some of the images from that project. Next slide. These are some of the completed images of the stretch. Next slide. Now this again is another project which we are trying to get it done through Residents Welfare Association of Kadingalur area, where Alua has a 2-kilometer long irrigation canal. So we are trying to take a pilot project as 100-meter distance. 100-meter stretch, we are trying to develop the canal as a children's park kind of development. So this project is being is getting done through Residents Association. So that's how that entire project scheme was getting done. Now, this is another project where we were doing a feasibility study for a project at Chundal. It was for a private agency, so this was more of a private consultancy kind of project. So this consortium had a 6-acre dryland and 35-acre wetland in near Kecheri, Chundal in Thrissur. Next slide. So our scope was to identify what the land is, what are the possibilities of that particular land, what projects can come in there, if projects are coming in there, what is the viability, and what are the bill forms which we can look at that particular land. So that was our scope. So we identified, okay, this is a location and regional framework, and what is the footfall coming in those areas, what are the numbers which we are looking at, and what kind of people are coming in. So it's near to Guruvayur and Thrissur, so we had a large pilgrim set of people coming there for pilgrimage, and also it has a potential of larger events being hosted there. So what we call as MIC. So it's more of a corporate meeting kind of scope. So we identified that potential. Next slide. Next. So we did all the site studies. What are the site potential? What are the issues? It had a low-lying areas where flooding was an issue. So we identified the site conditions. We zoned the different areas within that land. We had wetland which cannot be built. So all those considerations were done. Next slide. Next slide. So these were just the study part which we identified where all different things can come in at different parts of the site. Next slide. So with that study part, we gave a suggested positioning for the client that this is a combination which can come in as a viable proposal as a viable feasible proposal for the particular land, where you have a mix of these different components coming in with particular areas. So we gave different areas, different built volumes which are required for each of these projects. So a mix of this was identified as the best suggested positioning for that particular site. So then we gave different form proposals, how these particular bill forms can come in at different parts of the site. Next slide. So we gave multiple options of how the entire thing can be laid out in the site, how different units can come in, what are the views, what are the vistas in terms of built volume, how it's going to come. So all that was identified. We gave multiple options to the client. These are some snaps from the option 1. Next slide. So these are multiple options how the build form can come in with respecting the land, respecting the contours of the site, considering the levels in the site. So we gave 3 options. So one of the options were chosen to be taken forward. So that was our scope. Now individually, now each of these projects, each of those buildings become an architectural project. So that is how urban design sort of comes in the scenario. Now within this building, the conference hall is a project which is taken forward by another architect. So or the banquet hall is taken forward by another architect. So they become individual architectural projects, but we set the basic zoning and basic positioning of what are the different units. We set different vistas that this particular street is very important. So those guidelines were set. Other architects were involved, like architect Fahad from Ernakulam and all were involved in the architectural project. So our scope was still the urban design scheme. Next slide. Now, this is another way in which my office got involved in urban design project. As I said, urban design as a scope is not identified in the local body. So our office got empaneled as architecture firm in the Trikagra municipality. So that is how we sort of worked within the institutionalized framework. Trikagra municipality is where the Kochi Info Park is in. So it is sort of rich in its income. So they have different projects and they have different funding to take forward many projects under their municipal body. So how we worked out this is we sat with the political council and also the engineering section and identified different projects, different lands, different projects within the municipal body's jurisdiction. So that is how we identified it as architectural projects. So when we present it in the municipality, it's an architectural project. And each architectural project is also split into maybe 2 or 3 different estimates because of funding issues, because it's like with below 30 lakh project is considered as one parcel. So that is how the estimates work. But basically we saw it as a potential to work within multiple projects. Now, this is one of those projects where we worked at the municipal complex as a whole. The municipal complex had the municipality building. It had the private bus stand complex within that, and it had a huge waste recycling plant. So that was the total land in which the municipal complex was situated. It was in a bad shape. So the first project we sort of worked in is to come up with a new municipal complex building plus its pedestrian stretch, where we worked on the connections to bus stand and all that. So again, it was envisaged as an architectural project, but we had components where we connected the bus stand to the other side of the road. We had parking complexes for visitors and guests separately. Then there were toilet complexes. There were facilitation centers. Can you move to the next slide? Then there were a lot of protests happening in the municipal council building, but there was no particular venue for that. So we sort of had a huge grand hall, open hall kind of a thing, where people can come in and arrange meetings or protest or whatever. So it became a shaded courtyard like that. So that was part of this, and we had separate vehicular and pedestrian walkway designed within the same area. So all these are images from the same project. This was the facilitation center. Now this parcel of land is just opposite to the particular municipal complex building, where this was a old municipal market, which was an old building. Now that entire complex was redesigned as a new what they call as a high-tech municipal market, commercial complex. So again, it in itself is an architectural project, but we saw it as a development which can come in together with the same framework. So at times so this has 2 roadside edges. The left side image on the top is on one roadside, and the bottom image is from the other side of the road. So it was possible to connect through this building to cross the road from one point to another. So we worked on those kind of approaches where people move through this building and all that. So this was another project which worked as an architectural project. Next. These projects are under construction. It's a canteen complex within the same compound. And here we were working as an architectural consultant also. So we worked to an extent where the interiors were also worked out. So the entire office was designed as a smart office with digital systems and all that. It's fully air conditioned. So we worked the interiors also. In this particular project, our scope worked till the interiors. Slide. Now, another project within the same framework which we worked was the crematorium building. Now, again, the as a project, it was just a crematorium building. It initially this left side is the entire plot. The gray color was the existing crematorium, which was an old system which was being used. Now, the project scope was only to do the architecture of the particular gas crematorium which was proposed. It was a state government funded project, so the fund was directly given by the state. But when we saw it as an architectural project, we saw that the entire land is, it was a huge piece of land. Around 3 acres of land was there, which was lying not used properly. So we proposed it as a space where people can come together as well, along with the crematorium purpose. So we gave a proposal of it as being a park kind of a area where crematorium can come up along with a park where people around the crematorium complex can come up and use it as a space in the evening time and all that. So we saw it as a public space in itself. So that project again was approved. So apart from the architectural building, we did the entire landscaping for the entire area where there was a parking area, there was a park component. The two crematorium complexes came in, and some light towers and all that were proposed alongside. So all that came up as a, so to say, it is imagined as a park. This project is still going on. The building is completed. The landscaping is going on right now. Just go through this. This is another project which, again, within the same municipality, this proposal was given by us to them. It was not, it didn't come from the municipality. The proposal was to imagine a gateway to the municipality itself, because it's considered as a info city, or it is sort of the gateway to the info city of Cochin. So we gave a proposal that we should be using similar signages, similar kind of language for the entire municipal boundaries. So all the parks, all the street lights, all the street edges should have a similar character, like bus stand complexes with particular main road exits and entries, like the Seaport Airport Road and all, should have proper landscaping, proper signages, giving a feel of entering an info city. So that was the idea behind this project. So we gave proposals to fulfill that kind of an approach. So this is the edges of the Seaport Airport Road. Right now, the widening is going on for the Seaport Airport Road. So this proposal was given to be taken forward along with the widening proposal. So it was presented to the collector. So it's still under process of how it can be taken forward, or the funding is not yet decided who will fund this project and all that, because it's a Seaport Airport Road. But basically the intention was to give an identity to the particular municipality by giving a similar language throughout the municipal boundary. Next slide. Next slide.
I think that's the end, Ranjit.
Yeah. So so basically that is how we sort of work, try to work or try to identify urban design projects within the framework which we have got, or within the framework, limited framework in which we sort of try to get it as a project of urban design. So in some cases we become successful, in some cases the project gets dropped off after we give the proposal. Some projects take a long time, but that's how the process goes. So what we see as a future is again two ways. One is if the urban local body can get more knowledge on urban design projects or public space design projects, it gives a huge development impetus to the entire state. Second is from the top-down process where we have large infrastructure projects or large urban design projects, which are being done by different agencies like the tourism department and all that. But again, the issue is that the kind of turnover and conditions which are given for that is sort of gets met by only firms from outside the state, or in some cases nobody meets it. So those are some of the challenges which we see in the profession as such. That's my time.
So thank you, Anjit. I think it was really great to see so many examples where urban design integrates with urban planning. So I think we can take a few questions if somebody has some. We got a little bit of time for that before concluding the session. So
We have 3 cities here
Yeah.
opting for something like this in Kerala, isn't it? Are you
Opting
aware of
for,
that?
I didn't get opting for what?
This urban transport system.
Okay, you are saying like the Kochi Metro, you're saying.
Exactly. We have
Okay.
2 other cities also.
Yeah, Trivandrum and Calicut. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And why did we opt for the alternative to that? What is the alternative?
Light rail is what you're talking about?
Is that
Monorail and
light
all
rail?
that?
Yes, monorail.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it because of the functionality, meaning the quantity of people using it, or
Yeah,
because of the
probably.
or because of the you know?
Yeah, probably it's because of the it's a comparison between the cost invested to the number of people traveling.
Okay.
I mean, it should be a transport planner who should be answering it correctly. But
Exactly.
if I take Kochi Metro as an example, as a whole body, I think they are in profit. One of the
It's starting to come, but
yeah,
it has to be
few
extended
metro
to
stations. Yeah,
more places that it stops,
yeah, true.
and that's still hasn't progressed as yet. But
Yeah, I mean, come back. If you see it as a transport system, you have your.
it's
I mean, there
more
are
people
pros
are
and
using
cons
it.
of it. Yeah, but
More
if
people are
we,
using it.
yeah, true. But if I see it as an urban design exercise, Metro has definitely brought a change to the cityscape as such, or how the city is visualized.
Okay.
KMRL is able to bring a change in the way pedestrians are being used or the cycling tracks are being built. So, from an urban design point of view, I think it's a success. I mean, it's becoming a success.
Okay.
But
It's only
from a
gradually
profit point
being
of view,
understood.
yeah,
We don't have the pedestrian pathways over here, and we don't have a divider on the on the where you have to build the bridges
true.
for this.
Yeah.
When
No,
you
it's
try
an
to
issue with
explain
smart
that,
city also. It's an issue with smart city also, where they to execute this project, you come up with land acquisition, and you don't have the kind of right of way in our cities where you can work out those typical sections which we imagine of.
see, it's a
So
balancing act. It's a balancing act
yeah,
for the divider itself, on the
yeah,
divider itself.
yeah.
For the person
So
to stand.
even the smart city had to change their initial locations of where they implement their project from the Broadway to Queensway and all that. So yeah, there are different issues which comes up from site. Even in Alua, we faced that when this project was proposed. There was a lot of opposition from the market body, where they said that once this pedestrian walkway and all come in, it will be difficult for goods vehicles to come and park, and loading unloading will be an issue, and so many of those issues came in. So even though it was one of the first pedestrian walkway projects proposed by KMRL, it took place, or I mean, it just got completed last year. So there were a lot of issues from the local people out there.
They start learning the difficulties only after they start building. That's a
Yeah.
problem.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
So, are there any more questions?
Anybody else?
So I had a quick question. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I'm an architect urban planner, but so we do have a very strict set of guidelines that define the profession of urban planning in the country. As far as I understand urban design, there are a lot of guidelines that sort of direct the profession.
Strict guidelines.
How restrictive or enabling are the current urban design guidelines in India?
First, to say there is no urban design guidelines in India. So that's the starting point. There is not many cities which have a proper implemented urban design guidelines. There are certain areas, but they come with conservation, like Fort Kochi, for example, has a set of guidelines, but it's because of more from a conservation perspective, because it has a tourism value and all that. So it has, but it was worked on by KT Ravindran, who's an urban designer. So the document was done by an urban designer, but it was more of a conservation point of view. So in India, I don't think there are, I can quote a good example of how city planning can end up with a good urban design set of guidelines. Now, if it can be properly implemented, the potential it has is that what we now are going to is that all the cities are becoming similar in its character or in its skyline or in its form. Every city is becoming similar. Now, urban design guidelines is something which can bring variations to that city form. So depending on the character of each city or depending on the character of each place or the culture of that place or what the historic context of that place, these guidelines can change. So what the guidelines which will be proposed for, let's say, Tripunithura will not be same as the guidelines which are proposed for maybe Marine Drive, because the contexts are totally different. But right now, in our current framework, we only have the building rules as an overall guideline, KMBR, which sort of gives a uniform form to the entire building structure throughout the state. Plus, there are town and country planning schemes for very few particular areas where there are certain more restrictions based on the road widening and all that. But urban design essentially should be fitting in as a town, as part of the town and country planning scheme which we have. So that is one of the scope, or that's where we see that urban design can plug into the current framework of things. So we tried to do that in Thrissur, where TRIDA was trying to do projects for the old market area of Thrissur city, just next to the round. There was an extensive workshop which was conducted by TRIDA, and we came up with proposals in terms of guidelines of how that particular place can give a better form. The thing is, people want to build more. That you cannot negate that there are old buildings. Those people also want to build more footprint. They want more build space given to their particular land. But there is a particular character which that place has, so you need to retain that particular character also. So it's a negotiation between those two, which as an urban design professional, probably urban design can deliver in terms of guidelines. But yeah, as an example, probably there is no.
There was a similar situation in sitting with for that twinning of cities for Trivandrum.
Mm-hmm.
Which city was that? Do you know that?
I'm not aware of that. No.
You're not aware of that?
Mm.
It was Barcelona.
Oh, okay.
Twinning of cities. I had to sit with the an architect, the chief architect over there. I mean, like, you couldn't even understand. You know, I needed a translator,
Mhm.
and that was how the pattern was compared with our Trivandrum. So those are the various kind of, you know. So that's where master plans actually need space.
Yeah.
That is totally nobody understands. Anyway, I won't bore you. Sorry.
Yes, thank you, sir, for your feedback. And I think we'll slowly move on to the concluding session. So I invite Ms. Malavika, who's working with the Transport Department, New Delhi, to start with the concluding session. Over to you, Malavika.
Thank you so much, Architect Ranjit Augustine, and thank you for everyone who has come here. It is the holiday season, but thank you so much. And we're just starting, but we see people from across the spectrum of ages present here. And how Anjit sir started with a brief about planning and the exercise of how it is done. It took us all back to our, even though I am a recent passer, it took us back to our college days. And specifically with respect to how urban design, which is a very thin but a very crucial line between architecture and urban planning. So as sir rightly mentioned, even people here from ITPI as an institutionalized body, how we should also be realizing how urban planning as a profession gives the character or the identity to a city, because we go abroad and look at cities and are left in awe how Kerala as a space has so much scope for great urban design exercises. We saw some of it in Anjit sir's presentation, especially one with the crematorium, how people are envisioning a place of mourning as a beautiful public space. So, and how the profession itself, scaling up of the profession, would do such a good, would set a good example for our country as such. And one thing is specifically struck a chord with me was how he emphasized the usage of media and how presenting it to the people and capturing the attention of local bodies and people alike can give more impetus to the profession as such. Thank you so much. I hope all of us, especially the seniors sitting here, try to incorporate or plug in urban design as much as possible into the spaces we are planning, and how they can actually string together various architectural projects and sort of fit it into the urban spaces we are planning. Thank you once again. I think that was a great
Happy New Year to
start.
everybody.
Thank you.
So thank you, Malavika, and thank you, Anjit, for the wonderful presentation, because I think from when we think about the future, urban planning, we cannot just disregard urban design and just move on with urban planning, because we have to integrate urban design into urban planning for creating better cities. And we are all continuously doing master plans, all development plans. So urban design should become a part of it. And again, we should understand that public-private partnership in doing so is also very important. And I think the works that are done by you is really great, and I really wish you success in all your future endeavors. So with this, we have concluded our event for the day. I thank each and everyone for your kind participation and interactions. So kindly await for the next notification soon with a new guest and a new topic, and hope to see everyone then. Wishing everyone a happy and prosperous New Year in advance. So thank you everyone. Bye and good night.
Happy New Year.